Okay, we are live.
Good morning, and welcome to the Eureka Springs Hospital Commission Workshop. This workshop is dedicated to budget discussion, and just as a preliminary, we will obviously not vote on anything today, but listen to Tiffany and Cynthia's plan for the 2026 budget, and then we'll vote on this in the December meeting to be effective in January, and that'll give them time to tighten it up and all that stuff. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tiffany and let her go through her thinking.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Just for my first experience, I'm just going to come out and kind of say a few statements here as we try to align for projections of 2026. But our 2026 budget priorities are going to be strategic growth, sustainability, and workforce competitiveness. Right now, our 16-week rolling budget plan remains our financial backbone. It's ensuring discipline through structure and accountability, and we have been performing really well at being tight in that. So 2026 is going to be the year we build margin through mission, okay? So 2025, as you know, was the hospital's turnaround year. Through regulatory recovery, REH conversion, and operational discipline, we achieved stability and consistent break-even revenue of approximately $1 million per month, averaged out overall. So this success restored physical confidence and positioned Eureka Springs for controlled growth in 2026. So with that, I handed a little narrative of the key insights here about revenue growth, capital allocation, labor cost trends. We can speak a little bit about that. We project our growth to be up to 8% next year. First quarter will be the implementation and growing of some service lines that we want to provide to our community, and we're still vetting those out at when they're going to start, and we're going to market all of those and get those out to the community. But with that, that takes time. So the capital allocation, major investments, the big one is the helipad and parking upgrades. The facility, which I talked about at our last commission meeting, is, you know, we always have to keep that on the radar of what's going to be our next biggest expense with facility because of the age of the facility. So, and then safety enhancements to strengthen emergency readiness and compliance. The next one is labor cost trends. As we are in the rural care, and as I was collaborating with other cohorts in the REH a couple of weeks ago, that was a common topic, and it's the competitiveness for wage in a rural area tends to be a little less just because budgets are smaller. But what it does is it limits the ability to attract, because a lot of the staff will go to drive to another facility if they're getting that that wage is becoming a little bit higher than what we are offering. So we're looking at some of that adjustments to support the retention, recruitment, and workforce stability. As we move into quarter one, there's going to be several grant applications. I'm working with REH right now specifically to center ourselves around AI and technology. There's a lot of grants around there, And some of these plans that we're working on right now will coincide with that. Either way, if it helps us financially on that side to get it initiated and going, that's great. We already have a telecart. It's just the telecart has to talk to somebody on the other side. So when you talk to somebody on the other side, there's a fee to that. So there's like an annual fee or an hourly fee or whatever fee to that is. So if we can get some grants that can help us with some of that financial piece of those costs, those are the things that I'm going to be looking for in the grant writing. I know that the Rural Health Transformation Program has kind of led us in a way that there's a lot of money that are coming to the states, but that is somewhat a little bit challenging because the governor submitted her, which was on the news and stuff like that. She submitted our application on representing from the state of Arkansas, and it seems like it appears, and correct me wrong, that they want this all to go into a bucket, and then that bucket determines what the needs are in the rural, and then they'll determine the money that needs to go to those rural areas. So even though we wrote our grant, which I think is a really strong grant application, we were in competition with a lot of others that were a little bit stronger workforce and larger political arena. So I think we will get something out of that, but I don't know what those are going to be, so you just can't depend on it. Yes?
So the other ones in Arkansas who have reached out to the governor, were they just acute care hospitals, or were some of them now in the REH model?
Are you talking about
The ones who are reaching out to Little Rock for some of this funding?
Both.
So, yes, both. So like Arkansas Hospital Association submitted approximate 123-page application of what they wanted to do with the grant money based on the Arkansas Hospital Association. So there were lots of entities, large and small, urban, large and small, that were all going to the governor which was submitted on October 10th. We got ours in a little bit earlier, but that piece right there was we just put all of our applications into one bucket. Then the governor's office created the application based on the overall general need.
Cherry-picked some key things, and they organized it into 4 main buckets: in workforce, community education,
Mental.
accessibility, and mental health, which is obviously lacking in the state. So
It sounds like that the definition of rural has been expanded then.
exactly, and that
Which is
started
not what the initiative was supposed to be.
That started surfacing, oddly enough, Kate, in between the time CMS sent the package out for the states to submit and when the states were due. It started being discussed that way because they felt, or the opinion was, that the larger hospitals and the urban hospitals could probably better serve rural areas with help, which is not the case. Now, that said, in the governor's application, in the governor's application, she did point out the REHs that are in the state.
Good.
We're hoping that is, we're on the radar. They weren't forgotten. So, and, as we all know, Eureka Springs is extremely unique. And so we're going to fight, we're going to hope that we get some. But there's a lot of politics involved in it. And we still don't know how the governor is going to send out RFPs to the individual entities, and what we'll do. There are two buckets that Tiffany and I think we strongly qualify for, that we can address. And of course, when she put the application together, she went by the RFP. So, I mean, we've got our ducks in a row as far as that goes and can expand.
Well, maybe it's time to extend an invitation for a nice brunch or something to Little Rock to come, for the governor to come hang out with us for a little
Tiffany's
bit.
already done that.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Invited to the
She's a step
November
ahead.
20th open house and celebrating National Rural Health Day.
Thank you.
We haven't heard a response, but she invited all the legislators.
That's great.
Okay, no.
It means we
great.
all need to call Steve Womack's office and push him for coming to that. Every one
Okay.
of us need to call.
Can do it.
Put an ear in, bug in his ear,
Yep.
and even Bozeman. So I'll front the first call,
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
these calls, and start making that happen.
Perfect.
November 20th is our open house, right?
November 20th.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So basically, going into 2026 budget, I am going to propose and project a flat baseline. It's a zero budget, again, very much similar to our last 16 weeks. We're going to continue that budget and agenda going into 2026. I feel that we can grow around 8 and 10% next year, but with first quarter being our transitional time to implement, that generally has a delayed effect in order to be able to generate some revenue off of that piece. So we would most likely see growth starting in the second quarter. And we know that by history and trends, the winter months here are a little tight. And so hopefully when generating some of these new service line ideas, starting in January, that will kind of help us have some increased volume during that time.
As you guys have looked at this, then, so that looking at the four quarters, we pretty well know that the second, third, and fourth is where basically our volume is at. Am I correct?
Correct,
So-
yes.
So we're never going to have to use that first quarter as a real temperature gauge for this situation. It's going to always have to be those 3 quarters anyway.
Subsequent, yes, correct, yes.
Yeah.
And again, remember, when we look at the year-to-date comps, we were just coming off of diversion in the first quarter and
Right.
part of the second quarter of 2025. So if we're still kind of in that twilight zone, not as bad certainly as 25 looking back at 24, but we're still kind of in that twilight zone of not really having a comp to go by. So the majority of the growth is going to be on new services.
So I think one of the things that Cynthia and I talk about a lot is how, what, when, where, why, all of those things to generate revenue. And that is predominantly through outpatient service lines. We have some ideas that are not yet to be transparent on those because they're just not formally there yet. But once they do, we'll present those. Our rebranding is another thing that it does. With rebranding, that does come with a marketing cost on that piece. So when we start the signage and rebranding of Eureka Springs Hospital, we put some marketing costs in there for next year. And as we go and be more out in the community, meet the clinics, and have material to hand to the clinics to say these are the services that we're providing and all of those things. So I feel like our key financial drivers for 2026 is going to be centered again around a 10 to 20% increase in labor and supply costs. And we know we've already experienced an increase in our supply due to tariffs and stuff because most of our meds, like the tubing and stuff, it is, brought in from different countries and things like that. So we're already experiencing that inflation of costs. So I'm just putting it out there a little higher because I don't see an end to this yet. There hasn't been anything really that says we're going to, decrease the tariffs. So the predictive AI for charge capture improvements, that's something that we have somebody already in place for that, but also Oracle is working on predictive AI stuff right now. So I'm working closely with them on their AI side that they're developing on. And with that, there always comes a cost with Oracle. So yes, they have something out there, but there's always a cost for us to implement it. That's just how they get their fees off of that. Grant funding again to offset capital and staffing costs. Maybe the REH reimbursement and this CMS stability. And then the strong focus on cash flow and operational resilience is the key focuses. So I can share that, or Cynthia, I don't want to take away from your bubble here.
No, you're good.
October, why don't you share a little bit about October, just to give you an idea of how much we have turned the corner a little bit.
So, and we can go ahead and disclose it because it'll be Monday's meeting as well, but our October financials was our best, not even just year to date, but kind of looking at the overall picture of the hospital since the REH conversion. Definitely can see the impacts of having somebody who diligently watches our charge capture for the nursing side, for the clinical side, ensuring that we got proper documentation, making sure all the elements are there and we don't have any revenue leakage. Our gross for charge capture was over $1 million for the month of October alone.
Wow.
So, and that's typically a month where we start seeing that decline because we're heading into the winter months, slower kind of thing. And again, our patient volume, is increased. They're local. We have a few tourists, yes, but it's not, the driving force behind our revenue. So, we've had great numbers, great months, so.
And we're tracking those specifically, just because we want to know, is this a tourist-driven volume or is this our community? And, when we call our patients back, we're getting almost a 98 to 99% positive comment.
That's fantastic.
And so they know that there has been a change. They note that.
Yeah.
And that they felt like they got the best of care. And that's what's important to us, is to make sure that the care that every patient receives is excellent, safe, and best practices.
Has there been an increase in, or have you tracked it, EMS
We have, and
volume?
So last week, we saw 22 EMS in a week.
Wow. Okay, that's positive.
So we are very positive about that. I have reached out to Gary. We've kind of had some back and forth emails to connect to ensure that, we meet once a month to have a collaboration,
Good idea.
just to make sure that we're all in this together and that we're working together for our patients and our community.
Sure.
So we haven't got a date set for this month, but the plan is to always try to meet each month with the EMS, whether it's through Gary or Fitzpatrick or somebody, some representative.
And my encouragement on that whole thing is also to involve our Holiday Island fire chief out there. I don't know if he's even tried to reach out to talk to you, but of course, with that group of residents we have at Holiday Island,
We do.
Gary Martin, I just want to make sure we're in that, thought
Okay.
probably we were, but, you know.
His name hasn't come across to me,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that I can't reach out.
I think it's Gary Martin.
It
It
is, correct,
is-
yes.
it
yes.
is Gary.
Yes.
I think it'd be a good thing to reach out to him. Very positive person overall, as the way he is and his disposition. I think he'd be a real good influence on helping that community out there at Holiday Island be more and more involved, knowing that how things are going here at the hospital, you know?
What about Inspiration Point, Brian?
Yeah,
the lake?
man, I don't want to get off subject, but I've been working out with a client this last 10 days that is an EMT for Inspiration Point. And he's informed me that the Opera of the Ozarks is going to be a year-round event place.
Yeah.
And he's very active. He's on the board of the Inspiration Point. It's Bill Schmidt. And we've had some good conversations about his operation out there at Inspiration Point. I've enjoyed getting some feedback from him. And real excited about what's happening with Inspiration Point and some of the good things going on with our volunteer group out there. They have about 150, they have 150 calls a year is what they have at Inspiration Point. So, you know,
It'd be good to cover that area. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think we've kind of neglected that in the past.
yeah, I tell you, I think we've got some, with everything growing out by the lake, that's a great place that, as we look at, again, our numbers and helping build our numbers, to be more encouraging to that group. Another area that, for the open house, we need to extend out to Grassy Knob and Inspiration Point to make sure these folks that are a part of that can come to the hospital open house and be involved to see what's really happening with how powerful things are going and how positive things are going at the hospital. So,
Good idea.
but Bill Schmidt's a great contact person for Inspiration Point.
Okay,
So,
all right, awesome.
Well, Cynthia, in the last 40 days, have you noticed a lag in claims payment from CMS,
We
Medicaid,
have
Medicare?
not. Have not. I mean,
Great.
claim payment has been thankfully happening. I mean, there is that disclaimer on some of their sites, some of their information, just kind of, I think, there. So in case it did happen, they can be like, we gave you plenty of notice, or you kind of should have been preparing, forecasting for that, but we have not. I mean, our claims payments are being pretty seamless, so.
Wonderful.
one clarification about October then. So what you're saying, Cynthia, though, when we look back at the Octobers of previous years, this has been one of the, am I understanding you correctly in what you
Correct.
said?
I mean, when you compare it, because, like you can't, it's removing out, like we had surgery last year. So if you take out that revenue from that line and comparing apples to apples, this has been our best month for us in October, so.
That's awesome.
And that's critical when we talk about, year-to-date comparisons, that we really have to
Remove
break
some-
it down to, apples to apples, and not look at just a gross number that had a whole bunch of other stuff going on.
Correct.
Great point.
Because even last year in our 2024, when you're trying to look at 25 to 24 and projecting to 26, I mean, in 24, we had PT for half the year and stuff. We had surgery for 10 months out of the year. So, I mean, there were some of them service lines that we no longer carry in-house and to have that revenue to bill out. We might make revenue a different avenue on it, but it's not the same, so,
Also impacts the expenses, obviously.
yes.
So one of the things as well is we're going to be moving towards a different laboratory lease on our equipment. The current equipment that we have which is fully functional, that is the surveyor even made note that we have a lot of equipment that can do a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we utilize all of that or would ever utilize that. But the current cost of the current equipment that we have to perform the quality controls is extraordinary comparative to other companies. So our pathologist, our lab manager, and myself are reaching out to other vendors to get another lease option and look at saving about a 20% cost reduction on that by discontinuing our current lease, which we can get out of, and getting a new lease, which will be more functional for us in the utilization of labs that we perform, along with a decrease in supply usage of quality controls, because each quality control, it does cost a lot, but there's a lot to maintain with that. And especially if you have to have a control and a lot number, and you have to do QCs every day. And if we can reduce that as well, that is just an example of something that we're looking to change in 2026.
So it'd be leasing different equipment that would be less broad spectrum and
Right.
more focused and
Right.
tighter on the
Right,
QC.
and as we develop service lines, I've already met with specialists that I've asked them, what would be on your menu? If you were to order lab, what would be on your menu that we need? And everything so far is following along with every equipment that we're looking at right now. So it's nothing out of the ordinary, but if there's something that's high-level specialty, you shouldn't have it anyway because it's so infrequent that you just want to make sure that we're safe and accurate in our reporting. And so we would send that out if there is a special circumstance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just
Yeah,
one
don't keep it
example.
in-house, basically take that type of stuff and go outside service instead of having to have it on the quality control side within our own.
Right.
Makes
On-
great
On a
sense.
very rare specialty lab item, but most of the specialists that I've talked to, there's nothing that they said that would be, that they would order that we wouldn't be able to do.
And a lab courier, we can contract with the lab courier to pick up those special ones.
Yes.
And we wouldn't have to be sending people.
Yeah, we already have a courier contract. that
That's
does-
great.
Yes,
We
yeah.
don't have to run to
Right.
Berryville anymore. That's great.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So, any questions so far?
That's real clear. You've done.
So,
I guess my only question, and my thought was as far as getting this 8 to 10% increase with more services, like PT, is that something we're looking at bringing back in as a way to generate revenue? Or what do you, Tiffany, what are some of the thoughts you're thinking of as far as where that 8 to 10% might come from with new services? Is there anything you want to share on that?
I can't quite
Okay,
yet.
okay.
But I think
Sure.
you'll be pleasantly surprised at the plan moving
Awesome.
forward.
I bring one more thing up we talked about now is, of course, we're saying that tourism is not really driving our hospital necessarily. But as we bring in, if we get some of these representatives to show up on November 20th, I think to me it'd be important for us to at least share, you know, we've the helipad, the ability to lifeline these folks out, just everything we do very professional from both the fire department and the hospital. I'm thinking as far as if we do get some of these folks to come, we need to definitely be able to share them with nuggets of major reasons why we are so important in Northwest Arkansas because of tourism and the need. And of course, you know, the area, we're surrounded by a great senior market out at the Holiday Island area. Of course, our traffic of, you know, things like that. But I just kind of get my thoughts of what do we do to make sure these guys understand how important we are to the whole area.
So I think one of the things when you come to the open house is the conversion of what we did with the surgery area. And like we had shared on our social media page, we turned one little space into a sim lab. We have a couple of the surgery rooms that we have cleaned up and converted, and those will be showcased with a telehealth cart in there. So if it can give you a little idea of some things that we're working on.
And I think, you know, we'll develop like a one-sheeter talking points to hand out, particularly for them, because that's something that, you know, you typically need when you lobby anyway. So we'll have some key points there and some changes, but that's good thinking.
And so kind of to what you were saying, Brian, I mean, there's certain things we can't disclose is what we're looking at, but it's kind of turning that old surgery suite into a multi-purpose area. So we're not just looking at something that's very niche in the market. It's more of like same space, multi-uses, and kind of how we can make sure to, you know, reduce expenses but increase that revenue at the same time, so.
So I think I have been transparent. It's a community healthcare hub is what we're doing it. And it's got some variances to it, offerings to it, and it's very community related, centered. And so we'll be sharing that at the open house about the community healthcare hub.
In talking about the community healthcare, is there still plans to have the transport, or what,
I was-
where do
I
we
was just
stand with
going to
that?
bring that up. We still have not heard anything from AEDC on our grant application. They said fall, but I'm sure, everything got off kilter and their money may have been delayed or pulled. But I'm trying to follow up on that to see. And we've talked about, that was an important priority for us, particularly with the transportation, but also the mobile clinic ability. That, should we go ahead and try to budget that in as well for next year? So what Tiffany and Cynthia are faced with were a lot of unknowns with a lot of price tags on it. And still the unknown with CMS and all of that stuff. So figuring out the return on investment on those things is going to be critical, but that's what they're currently analyzing now. And surfacing what are those priorities that we need to anticipate that we didn't anticipate. We had anticipated the grant funding, didn't get it. Should we go ahead and do the other? And that's about a $70,000, $75,000 expense. And with the focusing on the facility itself, there's some unknowns on that. I mean, the good news to the 100,000 plus HVAC answer is we no longer need a boiler, correct? And we should be a lot more efficient in utility bills, a lot more. So we still haven't realized a lot of those things that were against the cost. But that's one of the things that Tiffany's evaluating as far as should we go ahead and bite the bullet on that, or what do we do? We can expense that out at least. And we can lease it, not preferable, but we can lease it as an option. So there are things there.
Sandy, Tiffany, do we have a community benefit area in our budget? Because some of this is for community benefit only. We'll bill for it, but do we take any of that, or do we consider it, or? Because I don't think in here we have to worry about tax-free or, justifying that. But many hospitals take a community benefit so they could, just tell that to the community and talk about it. Because I think that a mobile van might be almost whole community benefit.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So will the community hub.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's some area we could put it in and justify that as an expense,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, looking at it from the fire department side, of course, and I mean, Willie, this van situation for the whole situation is a win-win, but
Right.
is it a financial cost that we can make it a profit? I hate to say it, make it a profitable thing, because there's no need to get involved if we're just going to keep losing money. We don't need it. From our aspect, we sure don't need to from the hospital,
Right.
We don't need negative growth, we need positive growth, right?
Right.
Well, it's definitely a benefit. I think when we went through that, it's just evaluating and with the other things that we do, because as the new services get in place, there's cost for that. And one thing that I know it's frustrated Tiffany and Cynthia and the staff and everything, Velvet, is they've been putting out fires and adjusting and figuring things out and putting systems in and haven't been able to get to the new services that they wanted to and to deliver on their vision. So, the first quarter, the rest of this year and the first quarter really needs to have that focus so that, that can have a handle, because that's going to make the difference for us.
Yeah,
So-
and to pipe into that is, I think we're no longer turning over every pebble as we wake up every day and there's a problem. So the fires are going down and smoldering, and we're able to forward think. So when I was at the REH conference in Maryland a couple of weeks ago, networking with everybody across the country, we're a little behind. Not a little, a lot behind comparative to all the strategic plans they have done. And we're just trying to catch up, because I look at it as they've already road tested it, now we just need to get on the bus and get on the same pathway as all the other REHs and promote ourselves through community and those service lines. And we have a lot of opportunity to be able to do that. We have the expansion width to be able to do that. And now it's just, you know, rural and regulatory wise, we need to get it in place. We need to get it, the community aware and educated and all those steps in place before we can actually announce what those are. But I think you will be very pleasantly, again, surprised on all the things that we're trying to do. And it's very positive and uplifting.
And the staff is completely engaged in this.
I think it's great that timing to be at the REH
Yes.
meeting, you know, especially where we're at, almost perfect timing to be able to now step forward and use some of those, get where they're at and on the same page and on the bus. That's awesome.
Yes.
The other thing to mention too is, you know, with all these things, the AI, even the mobile van and everything else that's going to go on, has tremendous impact on Cynthia and, you know, the financial system with figuring out rates. They still don't have the telemedicine rates correct. They pulled some, and
They have some of them into life, essentially terming at the end of the year, some of our billable codes and stuff. And it's a matter of, are they going to extend that, allow that code essentially to be billed? So, I mean, there's just so much of the unknowns within some of that before we kind of jump forward. So it's just giving a thorough analysis on everything before we decide to move forward and really trying to make sure where CMS is going to end on some of these codes, you know, if they're going to make decisions or not, so.
so there's that internal operation, fast tracking to try to get ready to take on these new as well. So patience is of order. Speed and patience.
So, and I mean, just on the note of within budgeting here, kind of in that, and some of the expenses, I mean, we've talked about how we've had the new HVAC system, you know, in the 1970s building and stuff this year that we're going to have that expense of, but it's looking at, you know, budgeting for the expense of, you know, bringing that essentially into, you know, the 1929 building, because, I mean, there is no HVAC system in there. I mean, it is window units and plug-in heaters, you know, something we were looking at doing, but, you know, prioritize the patient care areas. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of around about the same expense to be able to, you know, essentially bring that heating
Parkas
in.
for all the executives. Parkas for all the executives.
Oh, yeah, plush offices, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah. The only plush thing is maybe a carpet and a blanket.
You know what? It's okay. Because as long as our patients are taken
Yeah,
care of,
yeah.
honestly,
Everything will come together.
yes.
I know
We
thi-
can bundle up. Yeah.
This year, going forward, and I know you're still tied on the 16-week plan, and we kind of anticipated at one point a deficit this year. Where do you think? Are we going to be flat? Are we going to break even? Are we going to have a deficit? Because we've had,
I'll let Cynthia pipe in because a lot
Over-
of it has been the unexpected costs in October with the HVAC, which really kind of,
and Pinnacle earlier.
I mean, we've had that server, I mean, the IT infrastructure expense that we weren't, you know, that we did take on the first of the year kind of really hit us off with, you know, unfortunately in a negative direction. And then kind of as we've encountered some of these other ones within the facility, the HVAC and some of that. So, I mean, we've had some plumbing repairs that weren't, you know, in the foresight of that. So, I mean, I would like to be hopeful and say at least break even. I think a lot of it'll just kind of depend is how we knock on some wood somewhere down here on the floor or something, you know, in these last few months. I mean, these last 6 weeks out, 8 weeks of the year. But I mean, I do think we could be close to break even, barring anything, you know, crazy doesn't happen between now and then. I mean, again, seeing that increase in our charge capture, I mean, making sure, you know, that couple $100,000 that we were missing in charge capture, that revenue leakage that we were missing on that clinical side, I mean, is huge. And whether we have a profit or a loss at the end of the month and at the end of a year. So, I mean, you know, shoring that up in October is huge, but, you know, that's month, you know, 10 of a year, so.
Are we looking at any other future problems that the hospital might have with this?
well, that's why I say, you know, it's, you could do a predictive analysis by walking down and doing a risk assessment, which we're going to be doing that very soon. But for me, not being a carpenter, I just know that we're at risk at high risk for a lot. With the HVAC going in, that's something that's solved. But just prime example, we got hit by lightning. A lot of this was a part of that about a month ago.
About a month ago, yeah.
And then what got hit by lightning as well was our call light system. And so it just wiped it out, and that's an expense that, Mother Nature gave us, And so I'm just,
Holding your breath.
yes, yes. But we always have to have that up here, knowing that there could be something because of the age of the facility.
So you have $100,000 allocated for capital expenses in this next budget. Is that enough?
We hope so.
Yeah, because you have it designated for certain things and not the unexpected.
Right. I put down something about facility here.
Well, and I think what Tiffany on this, executive summary to your note, I think you're looking at the helipad and parking upgrades.
Yes, that's
itself, just that was $100,000. So this ain't all inclusive, but that was the
Got it.
kind of running bid we had for just doing that. And that is a major
Right.
It's like the HVAC.
need. We have to have kind of it
Right.
to kind of get everything
So-
else lining up to with some of our other kind of options that are out
with-
here. So kind of just getting everything online.
And the
there.
trees
With our
have to be
CMS
cut.
money, I think I brought this up before, though, these kind of improvements or these kind of things, is that not something that,
You're talking about the REH money?
the REH money, I apologize.
So
yes.
like the conversion money is there. That's what's in the
Right.
account. So yes, we have money in the account. It's just a matter of strategically, you don't want to take on a huge expense of like, let's take on a $100,000 improvement for a parking lot when we just hit $100,000 over here for our HVAC
HVAC,
repair.
right.
So it's kind of making sure we very strategically choose when we make some of these upgrades and additions or changes that
Right,
we
now,
have to do.
I'm talking about the original kitty that we got.
Yes,
that-
yeah, the conversion money,
Right,
yes.
we're in that the conversion money that came in.
Yes.
So I'm not saying we need to use it, but we've always got that as a way
Correct.
to, be a catch-all for some problem, right? As
Correct,
far as.
yes.
And that's
I mean-
priority, and we've never budgeted for capital improvements.
Right.
And as long as I've been involved with the commission, there hasn't been a hard talk about facility improvement. So, it's about time.
Yeah, and am I correct in saying, Tiffany, you're kind of, as you started to share a few minutes ago, you're kind of looking at the facility as a whole to try to put some more ideas in play as to what needs to be, is going to be on the horizon for repair or improvement, right? That's kind of a,
I did. I put something around just maybe a 20% in there, but then again, if you look around at some of the windows, we need windows replaced. But,
And so-
we just have to do this risk assessment and then look at what we can foresee that would be something. And I don't know. I find out something about the facility almost every week, but just like I found out that we used to have copper on the roof that would help prevent from lightning strikes and hurting, and our facilities gentleman told us that somebody got on the roof and stole all that copper, and we don't know when, but then we get hit by lightning. But we didn't know, until somebody got on the roof and there's the copper little things are gone. So,
So more security lighting, which is in place, and then we've got an expense between, I think it's 6,000 and 10,000, depending on the vendor, to cut the trees in the back that need to be done badly and certainly need to be done for the helipad. So there's still some expenses that
Will hit this year.
will hit this year. So that's why I asked if we're
Yeah.
going to be in a deficit or not, because
yeah,
it's,
that grounding thing, we definitely need to address till before spring,
Correct.
before the
Yes.
spring. Yeah.
yes,
Dang, huh.
yes.
any other questions? Any other comments? Cynthia, any additions, wisdom? Okey-dokey.
No, just talking, I'll add to what Tiffany was saying there about the windows. I think it's critical, and especially more in that 1929 building, they're part of that historic, so there's only certain people that can repair them because they have to be kept to HDC standards. So there's not just even like a basic repair that you would do on a facility or home or anywhere else. I mean, we are bound by a lot more stringent regulations, compliance. You know, you can't just say, okay, we could do this. I mean, you know, we've ran into that with HVAC. You know, we had to put the units on a roof. We had to take on additional expense to meet HDC compliance within that. So, I mean, everything isn't just, it's not always just what it looks like on a piece of paper, because then it's like, okay, are we in compliance with everything else here because of it being the historic building? So,
Any comments as far as, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on what each of you think priorities should be.
Well, the surge protection,
Yeah. Yeah.
From SWEPCO.
we have to have someone install that. That would be the grounding rod, like to re-ground the building out,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't do any good to have that. So I'm sensing facility, protect facility, number one.
Right.
Yeah.
And continue with the improvement in product lines so that we have something going forward. But it looks like you're surfing some rough waters that are hard to read. And it seems that I'm just astonished at the amount of forward motion and a logical progression to manage just all these fronts that you're dealing with, starting with the structure and then the environment that we live in.
You have no idea, she's
That
like a
uncertainty
gerbil on
that-
2 wheels.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job, is what it sounds like. Just being,
Just got to put it into action. That's where I'm a little anxious on that, but that's just my nature. But when you learn that if you don't have all of your things in a row, it will get you into trouble, and you want to have success when you open up something new. So we just have to take these visions and put them into reality. And I think we have all the possibilities to do that one step at a time. And I want to leave you with these things going into 2026. Just remember, we're going to focus on margin through mission, growth through accountability, care through community. That's going to be our theme.
And reflecting on that, I can already see how much you've brought that to the table. It's just in a short time.
Excellent. Anything else? Comments from?
No, for me, it's one of those things where, I'm talking to the community. I think there's starting to see a positive outlook with the hospital since you've come along. So, as long as we keep on that trajectory, I think we're going to be great.
Yeah. And Tiffany, I think that Cynthia and the staff, before you got there, were certainly starting to move in a direction that would make it more favorable for you as you moved in to your
Absolutely.
position. I think they've done an awesome job, and I
They
can't
did.
say enough.
They still
you.
do.
Yes. Yeah.
They kind of hold my reins a little bit, and then they'll be like, tell me a little history. So,
That you may or
and
may
sometimes I
not-
call them and go, hey, tell me about this thing going on. But no, I think it's all great. The team is aligned, right? And we're all focused on growth, even the leadership. So one thing I'm going to end is what I have been doing this week with our team is share 2 words with me. How you feeling today? We'll start with you.
enthusiastic and more than hopeful.
Okay?
well, gratitude, huge, is one word. Belief.
Dedication covers it all for me, that one word, dedication.
Okay.
You've all, the dedication we got from you folks, incredible.
Grateful and excited.
Optimistic future.
Committed and visionary.
I'm gonna, there's a lot
I
of
caught
words.
Cynthia earlier today, too.
I'm cautiously optimistic, so.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true financer.
And mine is energetic and excited, so,
Awesome.
okay? Thank you.
With that, we shall conclude our workshop, and again, Monday, we have our regular commission meeting. We will not be talking about budget on that. That will be on our first meeting in December that will approve that, and
What time is the open house?
Yeah.
you want to go 9:30?
9 to 11?
That's what I think it is.
9 to
9 to
11.
11, okay.
Did we not send the packet out to
I
them?
thought we did.
I think it was sent to everybody's hospital email, so the information was. So you might double check, and if not, reach out, and then Jody can resend it.
There's a full agenda and a packet of information.
Through that email, and
Yeah.
you're saying it's,
Yes,
Is,
yes.
by the
Let us
way,
know if you didn't get it.
is everybody's hospital email working?
No.
Yours is?
Mine
Yours still is not?
I've not been on it in so long, I need to look and see that it is. It was working.
Is there a way that you could drop by and we road test it at the hospital with our IT guy?
Sure.
Would that work?
That'd be lovely.
Yes, yeah. David's there on site, every day, so.
I can get it. The only problem I have is I can't get the encrypted messages unless I'm, like, I
On the
can't get.
domain, because of it's secure sometimes, certain messages,
I
but
can
what you were
check,
sent was.
I can check mine, see if I'm receiving stuff, and if I'm not, then I need to come see David. Right.
Yeah,
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
yeah. Thank you, everybody. I
Thank you.
think this has been a good session, a positive session, and I appreciate what staff is doing. It's really moving us forward, and it's building a foundation of sustainability without a question. Thank you.